Hey, and welcome to The Solid Verbal. Now would be a perfect time to consider subscribing. Yeah, that little subscribe button for year-round premium college football content. That's it. Here's the video. Enjoy. Subscribe.
Just as we entered the college football doldrums of May, this beautiful light, this beautiful gift of college football performance art arrived at our doorstep. Were you as excited as I was?
Of course was. I was entertained. It's one of those things where we can look at Nick Saban at the function he was at talking about doing things the capital R right way. And as opposed to Texas A&M, who the insinuation was that Texas A&M bought their class, and maybe that not even an insinuation, like a direct shot, that Texas A&M bought its all-time great, the number one overall by 24/7's metric, the all-time great class that Jimbo Fisher reeled in 2022. And then Jimbo Fisher called a press conference to respond.
You need the press conference. You need the rebuttal.
And he calls Nick Saban despicable and improperly being treated like a god and looking to God.
And a narcissist. Don't forget the narcissist.
A narcissist.
Thank you.
And a lot of ink has been spilled about the meaning of it all and their history specific to, Jimbo trying to operate under Nick Saban's thumb at LSU and the friction between the two, and Jimbo always bringing up Bobby Bowden as the beacon of morality, which, okay. So a lot of the conversation is built around like, oh, is NIL going too far, blah, 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 blah. And or it's just two dudes throwing mud at each other and it's super entertaining and we can talk about that.
So here is the deal. Yeah. Whatever you want to call this, Bristlemania, the Royal Grumble, whatever makes sense for you in May as a college football fan. This controversy between Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher.
Did you come up with Gristlemania in the shower and immediately?
I did.
Gristlemania is really good.
Bristlemania.
Oh, I thought you were saying gristle, like beef.
You could go Gristlemania. Right? It is beef week.
That was good. Yeah.
This started at a booster event of sorts. Nick Saban was giving a talk, doing a Q&A, a panel thing up in Birmingham. And he called out Texas A&M as part of those remarks for, quote, buying every player on their team. Now, as you alluded, A&M had a historic recruiting class. Called out the Travis Hunter situation as well. We talked ad nauseum about that, but Travis Hunter, once committed to Florida State, ends up playing at Jackson State for Deion Sanders. There were some allegations, reports, whatever you want to say, about Travis Hunter chasing a bag of money and playing for Coach Prime,
right,
as part of an arrangement there, allegedly. He also called out this new age of collectives, which we've heard a lot of folks doing that. We've heard some stuff from Saban now about the NCAA, or the lack of the NCAA's backbone when it comes to enforcing all things rules. And more specifically, he talked a little bit about what happens if things don't change and what that could mean for Alabama. So
a slippery slope.
Such a slippery slope.
Yeah.
What this meant was that Jimbo Fisher lost it. Jimbo Fisher went nuts. Like any good baseball manager who gets thrown out of the game just to fire up the bench.
Yeah.
Enter Jimbo Fisher. He called Saban despicable and a narcissist and all the things that you said a few minutes ago. He also implied that he's a liar whose daddy should have hit him upside the head, which was the laugh out loud moment for me.
There's a lot of West Virginia grit baked into this back and forth, both being from West Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
Continue.
Notably, he took exception to any implication that A&M broke rules. A little bit of an implication from Saban, though he didn't come out and say it directly.
Right.
Jimbo denied any knowledge of the collective on the A&M side, which, I'm sure he doesn't know anything about that.
Right.
And then went on to say basically that Saban isn't as squeaky clean as y'all, as anybody would like to think. So.
Right. There was definitely an honor among thieves being broached vibe to the whole thing, especially when you saw all of the anonymous comments from other SEC coaches or other coaches who have coached under Nick Saban. There was that vibe of of course, there is this massive gray area, but you don't talk about it out loud.
So
there was that.
There's a lot of meat on the bone here.
Yes, the beefy bone.
I need to know, are you Team Saban or are you Team Jimbo in light of this little squabble?
I'm Team Eli Drinkwitz after I saw a picture of him wearing those Birkenstocks and like the very aggressive Team Dad vibes, which I talked about in the Discord. Like, I'm just showing up with some Martinellis. Like, all right, fellas, you guys seem parched. I'm Team. It's very entertaining. I don't come down on the, it's not like a Team Lauren Conrad or Team, oh God, what's her name? I'm forgetting her name now. From the Hills in Laguna Beach, who was married to Jay Cutler. Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Kristen
Cavallari. Yeah.
My car is Dunzo.
Yeah, I'm not falling on, the sort of teen element of like, I'm team this, I'm team that. But I think I'm Team Nick Saban because I don't know that his implication was fully, if you made me choose, I don't think he said something that was actually incorrect, but the tone in which he said it and the place he said it, I don't know if he had a couple drinks, I don't know, that's fine by me, but the implication was that basically what Jimbo Fisher is offering without NIL and without the collectives and the allure of Texas A&M is good enough for a good class, but not Alabama's level, right? Because Nick Saban said, we finished with the top class last year, but we finished with number 2 this year behind Texas A&M. And the implication was, of course, without a collective, without NIL, Texas A&M is but a team who gets a lot of attention but hasn't won anything. So why are they bringing in a class like this? Oh, right, it's the NIL era, which is the only way Jimbo Fisher could bring in a class that competes with the classes we here at Alabama do, doing it, again, the capital R right way, which, of course, what does that even mean? Who knows? I think by just definition, every major college football coach is kind of full of shit, and that's okay. That's totally good. We love it. We love the sport. We love the nonsense about the sport. And so the Jimbo thing where he could have been cooler about it, I also like and relate to the fact that he just lost his marbles on Nick Saban on a microphone on camera, because I just relate to that. I relate to being irrational. I relate to name calling, and then maybe after the fact, a couple days later, a few weeks later, a couple of years later, be like, maybe I took that too far. I relate to that. So I'm okay with having a healthy ego and defending your program and not looking like you are just going to sit there and take that kind of insinuation. So I come away entertained and also not believing that Jimbo Fisher or Nick Saban truly care about the sport nearly as much as they care about winning games.